It's allocation season, which means that distilleries are releasing some of their most sought after products. So we're going to talk about the 5 whiskeys that I'm hunting this allocation season. Stay tuned after the break and we'll talk about it. Let's talk about what allocation is, because I think some people around here have it a little twisted. So allocation is something that I actually use at work a lot. So basically what it means is that we do not have enough product to fulfill all of the possible orders that all of our customers want. So in the tobacco world, we do not grow enough for all of what our customers want. It is the same in the whiskey world. Whiskeys like, let's say, some of the ones on this list, or, things that you talk about being allocated, Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, Stag, spoiler alert, they're not on my list. They do not make enough to give to everybody who wants to place an order for it. So therefore it has to be allocated. Basically you're saying, I'm going to make 100,000 bottles of this, but I have 200,000 in orders. There's 10,000 going to this state, 5,000 going to this state. Basically you are saying, I'm earmarking where this whiskey is going ahead of time. So basically the only thing that allocated means is they don't have enough to go around, so they have to figure out where it's going ahead of time so that certain places don't get shorted. Now, there are games that get played between the distributors, the retailers, the states themselves sometimes. I know the Pennsylvania gets a lot of Blantons, but basically no Weller Antique. So there's definitely some stuff happening behind the scenes as to figuring out where it goes. I don't know the inner workings of that. I do know that there seems to be some stuff going on between distributors and states and control states and stuff like that, where it doesn't seem like every state gets access to every product, or at least not equal access, but that's kind of neither here nor there. Allocation just means they can't fulfill all the orders, so they got to earmark where it goes. So allocation season is generally September through roughly April, and that has its roots in tradition. So traditionally you would have started planting in maybe March, April, and then you would have harvested in September, maybe late October, but generally you want to have that out by September. So you would have started dumping your product after your harvest, after you've had time to, put the harvest away and get it drying so that you can make more product. And that's how we have allocation season in September. If you want to check out a release calendar, Breaking Bourbon has a fantastic one. I will link that below. It shows kind of pretty much anytime anything is releasing that is even relatively sought after, or any kind of batch product. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to talk about the 5 that I am excited for, that I am still hunting. So real quick before we get into this a whole bunch, there are some changes coming to the channel. First thing, we've started memberships. You can click join down below here on YouTube and support us that way. There is a digital only, we call it the Easy Sipper membership, where you get access to early YouTube videos. Some will be members only exclusive content. You'll have access to special emojis, priority responses to comments. You'll have a badge by your name, and you'll have access to our Discord. Our Discord is going to be for subscribers only between here on YouTube, and we are launching a Patreon here soon. In addition, we're launching a merch store. If you want to check any of that stuff out, check the link in our description. So without further ado, and really honestly in no particular order, I'm going to start with the 5 whiskeys that I'm looking for this allocation season, and the first one on this list is Russell's 15. I know it's been a bunch of places. Pennsylvania hasn't gotten it yet, so I'm still holding out hope that I can find one for at least decently close to MSRP, because I've heard that it is a banger. I'm hoping to have a sample from my buddy Brad here soon, but I'd like to have a bottle so that it can end up in my top 5 if I decide that it's worthy of it. It is pricey. It is definitely expensive at $250, and it feels maybe a little bit too elevated for what it is. I thought Russell's 13 was getting pretty far up there, and then I'm not convinced that they didn't discontinue the 13 and then start the 15 so that they could do a $100 price jump between the two. Maybe that's the conspiracy theory part of my brain. It doesn't quite make sense that they'd stop making a 13 to start making a 15 when companies like Jack Daniels seem to be able to do both. Regardless, I am excited for it. I hope to find one so that I can see if it's as good as other people are telling me that it is. So that's number 1. Number 2 is E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. So I've been hunting an E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof for a long time now, and that urge has only been renewed by killing a bottle of Uncle Dave's at Bourbon Fest. I'm really excited for it. I think it's one of the best products that Buffalo Trace puts out there, and it is different enough in profile from Stag that I do enjoy both of them. for different reasons. And I feel like E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof might even be one step above Stag, kind of in between Stag and GTS. So I'm excited for that. I'm hoping that batch 13 is good. Batch 12 for sure is. And that's something that I am looking forward to and hoping to find it somewhere close to MSRP. The next one is related, but kind of unrelated. It is E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof Rye. Now, I know I'm going to be called a tater for wanting both of these things, and I get it. This list is actually kind of all taters. People just want to throw the tater thing onto Buffalo Trace for some reason, even though every single one of these, you would have people lining up outside a store if they found out ahead of time. I don't know why it's just a Buffalo Trace thing, but E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof Rye has been something that they've been teasing for 2 years now. Supposedly it's coming this year, so I have not actually seen bottles in the wild, but I've heard that it is starting to release, and I'm excited for it because I love the straight rye. I actually think I like the straight rye more than I like the standard small batch. It is a fantastic product, and I'm interested to see how it is at barrel proof, and if it's basically baby Thomas H. Handy, which I'm here for because I love Thomas H. Handy. And all innuendos aside, I want a Handy, and I really want an E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof Rye just to see what it's like, especially considering that E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof is significantly different from some of their other offerings, so I think that the rye will also be significantly different from some of their other barrel proof ryes. Actually, it's really just Handy. So next on the list and getting closer to the end, we've got 13th Colony Double Oaked. I was a sucker for last year's. I took a risk spending $200 on a bottle last year and was rewarded with one of the best whiskeys of the year. And I think this year will be no exception. I already entered the lottery to see if I could win one because it is not distributed in Pennsylvania or really anywhere close. Basically, my only options are win the lottery or hope that Sealbox drops enough that I can grab one. It is a wonderful whiskey if you are even the littlest bit hesitant. Batch 1 and Batch 2 were fantastic. I cannot in my mind believe that Batch 3 would be anything less than fantastic. So I think it's worth picking up, and I'm definitely hunting one as well. And finally, I know I said no particular order, but this is probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most and hoping to find out of any of them. And that is Jack Daniel's Coy Hill Part 2, 2024's version of 2022's Coy Hill. Although this year's seems like I think they said it's between 120 some proof and 135 proof. So not quite the hazmat monster that it was. 2022's was between 139 and 144 proof, and I think this one's going to be a little bit less than that. However, it is the same rickhouses, it is the same whiskey, and I think it's still going to be fantastic, and I love all of Jack Daniel's special editions. This one for me is going to be a banger, and we'll see if Pennsylvania gets it anytime before middle of next year, because that's how long it took them to release the Heritage Rye from last year, so we'll see if they get their act together or if I can find it possibly somewhere else. Those are the 5 that I am hunting. I would love to hear your list. Tell me what this allocation season you are looking for and what you are trying to find. And hopefully we all get lucky and find exactly what we're looking for. Now we've got some upcoming events. We've still got the Fantasy Whiskey Draft. Stay tuned. It will be dropped in our page when we finally get it on the schedule. We've got some other upcoming lives. We'll have the State of the Industry address with Nick from Sawable Spirits coming probably sometime in October. We've got videos coming. We've launched, like I said at the beginning of the video, we've launched our memberships here on YouTube. So if you're interested in supporting us here on YouTube, you can click join and see all of the perks that gets you. It is $2 a month. We have Patreon coming soon. That will be a sticker club and a sample club. More details on that to follow. And we are launching our merch store. That will be in the link in our description. Go to our link tree, and all of that information will be there, except the YouTube thing. You can just join that here on YouTube. So if you want to support us, that's how you do it. If you like this content, check out our other videos. Please like and comment on this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. That helps us out a ton, and we hope you'll join us in drinking like a gentleman. There seems to be quite the kerfluffle outside of my office right now. There's backup alarms and honking, and seems like somebody has not figured out how to turn the turn.